Hi, everybody. It's Miss May, the school counselor for Early College High School. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is the college application process. So, so the college admissions officers will review the student's high school GPA, the classes that they completed in the high school, letters of recommendation from teachers or mentors if it's required. That's typically for like the common application schools or out-of-state schools. The extracurricular activities, and then maybe possibly an interview and then personal essays. Again, these requirements do vary from university to university, and it's more so of like a holistic approach, and they use all of the information that your student provides in the application. Students are self-reporting all the data. So, so for example, for the Cal State application, it's really more so just geared towards their high school and college classes. So the screen that I'm on, it just demonstrates all of the high school classes that we offer at Early College High School that will meet the A through G requirements. So I just wanted to kind of highlight all of the high school classes we've offered through 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. And then the very important part for the Cal State application is the A through G matching, because Cal State, they don't have personal insight questions. They, for the seniors this year, they will not require the SAT or ACT test scores. But so for right now, the current 11th graders, the expectation would be is to complete the SAT or ACT by December of their senior year. Since Cal State hasn't made a statement regarding that, and more on that too as we go through the presentation. So here's our A through G matching. So right now, what's the data that is on here? It is only high school classes, right? And Cal State, I really like their application. They do a very good job in kind of breaking it down. So like area A, with just our high school classes alone, students have 2.5 credits, which the minimum is 2. Area B is the English, which 4 years. We starting this year, we have been able to offer the 4 years of English. And then for the area C, which is math, 3 years are required. This student met it. The data I put in was for math 1, math 2, and math 3. Students in the math 1, the accelerated math 1, 2, and the accelerated 2, 3, it will get coded in as 3 years as well. And in the D1, area D1, which is biological science, students are required to have 1 year. Our living earth biology meets that requirement. And then the D2 requirement, the physical science, is 1 year also. Our chem earth, the high school chem earth, will meet that 1 year. And then the area G, which is a college prep elective, the economics class meets half of this. Over here is the government. And then you can see here, the only missing requirements is the language other than English, the visual and performing arts, and like 1 class of a college prep elective. So students will need to complete those through the college classes. And the expectation for a student at early college is to do 1 college course a semester. And I will demonstrate to you how that really affects the students A through G, and how they get very competitive. So a typical student will take like a foreign language to start, and then they move on to completing the visual and performing arts. Hold on. It's not liking that I'm jumping around, so bear with me, please. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So for this, we're going to select fall 2018. It's just going to be freshmen, and this will be completed. And we're going to go ahead and add a course. For this one, I'm just going to use the French, and as you type it in, it'll populate it. And of course, I do want your student to, I give all the 12th graders a copy of their high school transcript, and all students have access to their Solano College transcript. Go ahead and save that. And then we have to add another semester for spring 19, freshman completed. And we're going to add a course here. So this student would continue on to French 32. And again, this demonstration I'm showing on the presentation is just for one class a semester, and how significant just that one class allows our student to become competitive. So let's say the student wanted to continue on to the French 2 and 3, which is the typical route when we're planning during our 4-year plan. So 2019. French 2. Oops. French. To your course first. And then we're going to add another semester, which would be spring 2020, and then freshman, and it's completed. Let's go ahead and add that French 3. So this right here is 9th grade, and then we have our 10th grade, and then we could go ahead and add 11th. So fall 2020. And then I'm going to go ahead and add an area F for the visual performing arts. So I'm just going to put cinema 11. And then if you're not sure, we could probably, let's see. It's probably a visual. No, okay, it's okay. Let's use a different example. I apologize. Let's do theater. Theater 13. Because I saw it right there. So theater, and then I got another A. And then I'll add one more semester for the G. So it'll be spring 2021. Wait, whoops, not spring. Oh yeah, it is spring. and then it'll be completed. And then we're going to go ahead and just add, we'll add psych. Psych 1. So this is just through 11th grade year, and it's one class a semester. So if you go back to the A through G matching, it hasn't updated it for me because I have to manually update the college class here. And then if you guys notice here for the high school classes, they get coded in for us automatically. But here, as we go down right here, for the college classes, there's none. So I teach your students during CR class on how to accurately code these. And it's nice that they have it here on the right-hand side. So that is an E, an E, an E, an E, and this is an F, and this is a G. So I'll go ahead and save and continue. And once your student's done doing the data entry for this, I tell them to make an appointment with me and just, so we could double check everything. And then if they don't, I do come in every 2 weeks, and I'll kind of use the 30 minutes and walk around and just to make sure that, I'm there to support your student, because we want them to submit it right the first time, so we don't have to go through the appeal process. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so it didn't update it, so I have to redo it. And I apologize for the delay. Okay, there you go, did it. So then now, if you see here, it updated it for me. So for the French class that I took, it gave me 4 years. That theater class, I got 1 year. And then now I'm meeting the requirements for A through G. And that's just one class a semester for a student that wants to take one class a semester. All right. So that is the Cal State application. Here's the UC application that I would like to show you guys briefly. And this, with the UC application, they do ask for the same classes. So all those core classes will need to be inputted on here under the academic history. So here's the ninth grade is all of the high school classes, 10th grade high school classes, 11th again high school classes. And with this one, so it's just academic classes again. So that's just the English 9, the math. So the student is in math 1, and then science. So it's living earth biology. With the UC application, it doesn't have that interface like the Cal State that kind of checks off the A through G for you. So we have to be very, that's just very thorough when we're inputting it, especially with the college classes. Because again, with the high school, the UC application automatically knows the subject matter. See right here, it says it's B for English, and then the math I put in was for math 1, it's the area C, and then biology is the area D. So again, all the high school classes that we offer at early college, it will meet a lot of the A through G requirements, with just the exception of the foreign language, visual and performing arts, and then half a year of the college prep elective. So I just want to show you guys. So for the college classes, okay. All right. So for the college classes, the students are manually inputting it, but it's really nice because you know, it's you don't have to type it in like over, but you just select it. Here's the French. We'll select French 31. And then here so you just have to be careful because there's a college prep elective here, and then they'll see, oh, language other than English. They have to be very careful because it says elective. That's a G. So they have to scroll over here and give them French 31's a year 1. And it's asking for the type. And then you can scroll down and save it. Save and continue. And then we can enter the spring here. So it'd be French 32. And then, of course, if your student, you know, did take the two college classes during this time, they would put that down. And then that's year 2. So again, students would do the data entry for this, and I'll tell them, hey, come by and see me when you're done, and I'll double check your data entry. And I know students are asking, like, where do I put college readiness? Where do I put senior project? What about leadership? There's a section here for activities and awards to add those additional courses. So your student would select other coursework. And then on my Google Classroom, I do post a description, and I tell them copy and paste it and it'll fit on here. And I tell them, be mindful, if you add it on your application and then your final grade is an F, you know, there's a possibility that they will take away the acceptance to that college, right? Because your acceptance is it's on the condition that you're going to pass all of your classes with C's or better. So if your student is reporting it, you want to make sure that they're passing it with a C or better. Let me just show the Google Classroom. So I do post a lot of information on here, but here's the other coursework description. And then I like to tell the students to really highlight that they're part of the early college program, because when they're applying, they have to indicate that they're from Angelo Rodriguez. But in reality, you know, they're in a specialized program. So they can put this in the additional information after they input their coursework right here. And then again, they can just copy and paste it here. I also like to tell the students to let them know that their spring classes, they're tentatively planned, but they could change just because the K-12 registration date is so late, and we can't guarantee like the spots in the college classes. And that's pretty much it for my part on the UC application and the CSU application. This personal insight question, the students work on that during CR, like starting in August. So they get a lot of help on that. Okay. And then this is just this is what I went over. If you click that, that's a active link. And then the things I tell your students to have is just a copy of the high school transcript, which I provide to them, and then a copy of their Solano Community College unofficial transcript, where they have access to it, and I do show them how to get to that. And then this link here, it's just it's the website that the UCs and CSU admissions officers will use if they're not sure what class meets A through G, and it's accessible to the public. And this is just the same thing. This is just a UC application link. So kind of moving on with the presentation, I just my availability and my contact information. So I'm available Monday through Friday from 8:15 to 3:15. I do highly recommend appointments, and that's an active link. You can select it. If you can't find a time that works for you, please email me and let me know your availability, and then I'll send you a meeting link. And I am available to meet in person or through Google Meet. And then again, I do take a lunch. I'm very transparent with the students. So if they come looking for me and I'm not available or I'm not in my office during this time, and it's because I'm taking a lunch. The student accessibility. So I do have drop-in hours, no appointments needed. So lunchtime, the students have an hour lunch. They can come in Monday through Thursday to come and talk to me, except for Key Club days, which is the second and fourth Wednesdays, because I'm the advisor for there and I do have to be present during their meetings. And then the third Thursdays, I'm at the district office for meetings. And then every Friday during first through sixth period, I have drop-ins during your students' off period or free period. I'm in the cafeteria, very, very visible to the students. And they don't need an appointment, and they can just approach me, come to me, talk to me, whatever they need, I'll help them. If I don't know how to help them, I will find somebody to help them. And then again, how do I help your students? So I make sure they complete their high school graduation requirements through understanding what IGETC is and using that IGETC. So I schedule the visits during the CR class. I go every 2 weeks for 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how many questions your students have for me. And I go through the graduation requirements, college entrance, which is A through G. I explain the importance of IGETC and how to use it. And then during 12th grade year, I do go in and help that support for college application. So they are self-reporting it accurately. Again, one-on-one appointments, I highly recommend. I do provide academic supports for your students, limited social emotional support. And then I do help the students register for their college courses for every fall and spring. And then during those one-on-one appointments, I offer that individualized four-year plan that's really tailored to like your students' goals, what major they want to pursue, what university, what their end goal game is, right? As an adult, what they want to become. So there's this graduation guide that I created here. So this kind of showcases the four-year plan that demonstrates the high school classes your students will be in each grade level. And then just, the expectation of one college IGETC class every semester. And, if your student's goal is to get that 2-year degree, they can start adding classes, and we really talk it through because it is so much college classes a student would need to take in order to get that 2-year degree. And then when we do our 4-year plan meeting, this is the blank 4-year plan that I fill out with your student. And it just helps me be organized, especially if your student's goal is to get a 2-year degree. And then that way I can count up, all of the units, and then we can do the check marks for the requirements for the degree, and as well as making sure your student is completing IGETC. And then this is just a matrix that I created. So I'm very visual, and I like to just show the students the comparison, right? So on this, the pink side here is the graduation requirements that students have to meet to graduate with their diploma. And on the yellow side are the college entrance requirements. And I just like to show them that it really matches up. And as long as your students are passing with C's or better, they will be A through G and will qualify to apply straight to the UCs or CSU. And then additional requirements for A through G. So this is just more information here for you to look through. And then there's a minimum GPA requirement for UCs. That's a 3.0 GPA, but they only consider the A through G courses taken during the 10th and 11th grade year. And then for CSUs, it's 2.0 GPA, and it's the same thing. They will only use 10th and 11th grade grades to determine that GPA. And the reasoning behind that is because the UCs and CSUs they recognize that ninth grade is a transition year, and it takes time for students to get acclimated to something so different. And then private universities, I really, when we have that one-on-one meeting, I go through the process of figuring out what the requirements are. But for most of the part, they mimic the A through G requirements that the CSUs and UCs require. And in community college, if your student they do want to stay as a fifth year, I highly encourage for them to meet with a Solano College counselor to make a plan and to discuss the transfer process. I'm a first-time freshman counselor, and the transfer process has a lot of different requirements. That's not the same as the first-time freshman. And then this is a link that'll take you to the Solano College Counselor's website, so you could schedule that meeting, or your student can. And again, just more information for A through G. There's that same link if you're not sure if the class meets A through G. And then there's a resource here for parents. And then an update on the SAT and ACT examination requirements. So this is just the link for like the SATs and then the ACTs. And that's how you would sign up to take those tests. So here's the update. So UCs, right? In the past, they did require it, but they did provide a blanketed statement where they will not be using SATs and ACTs test scores to make their admissions decision or award scholarships. So UCs will not require it moving forward. And then they would just kind of use it, as an alternative way to for course placement for that's English and math. But if your student takes that here at Solano College, they don't really need it because then it just transfers over. For CSUs, they have only suspended the requirement through spring 2023. So 11th graders, you are applying for fall 2023. So you will need to take the SAT or ACT by December of your senior year. So again, 11th graders, if you are planning to go to a CSU, you will need to take your SAT scores by December of next year. And that's the lower grades as well. But again, if anything gets updated with the CSU website, I will notify your students. And I try my best to keep updated on things, but I typically check it in August. And then so tiered diploma. So the very first graduating class is the class of 2022 that will be eligible for this tiered diploma. And pretty much this is like another certificate your student can work on. There's 3 different kinds. The big one that the student can really that's the most accessible for our early college high school program, just because of the nature of it, is the college distinction. And this one, it includes being A through G, completing a semester of dual enrollment, which is already students should already have that, or they can't stay in the program. And then 50 hours of community service hours or volunteer hours. Students can definitely do the career distinction, but we have to use Solano College's CTE pathway. And then this is a link that just kind of shows that what I just broke down for the college distinction. And then some scholarship information. I have started going in with the 11th graders. We're going to start doing career exploration, and then we're using Naviance. And then within Naviance, there is scholarship information on there that I'm going to tell the students about. There's an assist to grad that's available the spring semester of 12th grade year. And that's going to be done during class. We're going to allow them time to complete the applications and then kind of have them submit it. And then there's Solano College scholarships that are available for our early college high school students. And then here's some additional websites that I found when I attended a conference from the California Student Aid Commission. And just a rule of thumb with scholarships, if they ask you to pay, please do not go with them. There are so many scholarships out there that are free. So if they're asking you to pay, it's most likely a scam. So please do not go with them. Or if somebody's like, oh, if I can guarantee you a scholarship if you pay me, please do not. Okay. And then I kind of want to go a little bit into ECHS, so you guys do understand a little bit about it, because we do use it to meet A through G and graduation requirements. So if you click this link, it'll take you to the newest ECHS. But pretty much the ECHS, it is completed by adult learners that just graduated high school. So they can transfer to the UCRCSU, and it does meet and fulfill lower division general education requirements for any major at a UCRCSU. So pretty much with the bachelor's degree, you have to have general ed before you start taking on the like upper division core courses to meet that bachelor's degree. So I mean, that's what the first 2 years of that 4-year degree consists of, is this lower division general education course. So I teach the students to to utilize it, and how to utilize it the most effective way. And we make sure that they understand they have to take foreign language, they have to take a visual performing arts, and then some electives to graduate and meet A through G. And again, regardless of the number of transferable units your students complete, all ECHS students are considered for freshman applicants unless they stay at Solano College and complete a non-summer term. So if they stay and they complete a fall term, and then they apply, and certain UCs and CSUs allow a spring admission, then they can do that. And then if the student completes areas 1 through 5, they could then they can request an ECHS certificate from the Solano's Admissions and Records, or ANR. And then that means that there are no more lower division general ed courses a student can take. So the UCs and CSUs can't make your student take any more lower division, unless they need it to like a prereq course to take their upper division course. And then I just want to touch, so November 1st, so this Monday, the spring schedule is going to be published by Solano College. I'm hoping that's not going to change. But with that said, I'm giving the students November 1st and November 2nd to complete my Google form that I have posted on my Google Classroom. Just because I need the 3rd and the 4th to print them out and organize it. So then on Friday, the 5th, I can return it to their college readiness class so they can bring it home and get it signed over the weekend, and then return it to me by November 8th. So then we could give it, because it's a process. They have to get physically cleared from the essay form so they can register themselves by December 1st. If we do not get that special admissions form returned and then they try to register, they will get a cohort restriction, and they're kind of gambling with their spot because we register so late. December 2nd, it's open to everybody can register. And then this is just a link to check the classes. So it just takes me to that welcome .solano.edu. And then if you scroll down, Under quick links, it'll be right here, class search. And then when the spring 2022 is available, it'll be here under select term. So, I tell the students, oh, you want to take American Sign Language? Go ahead and select that, leave the location at all. And then, oh, ASL 1's here. And then they just have to be mindful. So this class meets Tuesday, Thursdays from 12:30 to 1:45. So your student has to make sure that they don't have a high school class during that time. Or if they don't want to worry about that, they can find a class that says virtual. And that means there's no meeting time. And your student just has to complete the work on their own time. And then just some more resources, the Solano College resources, dates and deadlines. And again, every 3 college units your student completes, they will get 10 high school credits for graduation. And then the AS degrees, starting in the spring of 10th grade year, I highly recommend for your students to meet with the Solano College counselor to discuss the requirements. I will meet with your student just so we could have that conversation beforehand, so they know how to approach the Solano College counselor, and then they understand, the verbiage that the college counselor is using. And again, there's that ECHS certification. I do go into the classrooms and remind the students, hey, complete this certificate, so you could get your ECHS certification mailed to the UC or CS you're going to attend. And then, again, K-12 students are capped at 11 units during fall and spring. And they have to do the special admissions form, and classes are based on availability and then just your student's individual 4-year plan. Summer session is optional. We don't cover the fees for that. And I do but it is highly recommended if your student wants to complete a 2-year degree. And again, please meet with the Solano College counselor. And then there's also, if a student goes over the 11 units or 6 units in the summer, they have to pay the full enrollment fees for all the units registered, and it's $46 a unit. So it's not prorated, it's the full unit. So if a student wants to take 12 units, it's 12 times 46. The summer, it's 6 times 46. But during our conversation, when our conversation happens, I explain to the student, and then we try to move around classes so they're under that limit. And I just kind of want to touch on catalog rights. So this term is used to just define there's specific requirements every year for a degree, a certificate, or an ECHS. So if something were to change in the next year, because they update it every year, your student doesn't have to go with the change. So if they add 1 or 2 more classes in a degree that your student was interested in, they have catalog rights. It's the very first time that they have the very first semester that they completed, they'll be able to use that catalog right. And then it's just, I don't know, it just depends. It just varies from university to university. So you might have one university might require you to petition for it, another university where it's just automatic. So just being mindful, especially for the 12th grade parents, when your student starts at a UC or CSU, some things might change where they require certain things. But if it wasn't in the student's the student's catalog, they have that catalog right to not have to take that extra class. And then just some note on transitioning from ECHS to the 4-year universities. They are considered first-time college students until all proper paperwork are processed. So typically by the second trimester of university, the student will matriculate as a sophomore or junior. And then this depends on the number of units that the student completes. And then I highly advise for your student to follow up with admissions and records of the university after submitting both their high school and Solano official transcripts. And then the same thing goes for financial aid documents. They should follow up with the financial aid office of the university that they're attending, because they might require additional documentation, and then there's deadlines. If you miss the deadlines, you could be missing out on money. Okay. And then, so to get that financial aid, students should all complete the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid. This is the link to that, and it's all online. A student should start it first and then ask their parents to create a login. And then when the parent logs in, they'll be able to link their IRS information, because there's an IRS link built into that financial aid application. And you have to reapply every single year, and the application opens October 1st of every year. The Cal Grant deadline is March 2nd of every year. And then they do use the prior year income information, meaning for that 2022 to 2023 FAFSA, the student and the parent or guardian will be using their 2020 tax return. And then if you guys click this is like just the PDF version of it, so you know like what information they'll be asking. And then there is a save the date for a virtual cash for college. This is a really great opportunity if you want that help in completing that FAFSA or the DREAM Act application, or and then the Chapey grant. It's on Wednesday, November 3rd from 6 to 8. I will send the link for it so you could register. So that way, you know, if you're interested, I highly recommend it, especially if it's your first time completing the application. And then that is it for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening in, and please let me know if you have any questions.